A Staten Island judge has temporarily blocked New York City Mayor Zohran Mamdani's pied-à-terre tax rollout. Meanwhile, the Wall Street Journal reports that tax notices have also been sent out to New Yorkers with homes in trust. Bradley Tusk is with me. Bradley, it doesn't seem like he's going to get the money that he desperately needs.
Well, I think he'll end up with the money simply because the law was passed by the legislature and signed by the governor. But I think the broader point here is I don't think he really cares, right? For Mamdani, the means and the end are the same thing, which is get as much attention as possible, get as many followers on Instagram and TikTok as possible, be seen as the leader of class warfare, and the substance of any specific thing is basically besides the point.
You're an entrepreneur. You made your money bringing Uber, I think, not to just New York City, but all across the country.
Yep.
Mamdani has created an anti-business climate in New York City.
Yeah.
Do you support him in any way?
It's very hard to because, look, here's where I'll give him credit. He's a fantastic politician. He is incredibly talented. If you're in a room with him, he makes you feel good. He has that specific skill set. But the problem is, I don't think he sees his job as anything more than that. So in terms of understanding what it actually takes to run the city of New York, being interested in actually knowing how to do it, appointing the right people and executing on it, all that to him is completely irrelevant. And so as a result, he plays really well to the base. He plays well on MSNBC or whatever it is. But in terms of governing the most important city in the world in a way that allows the economy to flourish so that regular people can make a lot more money, and I think a really good example, Stuart, is when he's basically chased out Ken Griffin's new headquarters. The 15,000 jobs that would be created from that are not hedge fund analysts. It's construction workers, security guards, people doing IT. And the regular people who need those jobs are hurt by Mamdani's rhetoric and politics.
You're not leaving. But,
no, I love the city.
You're just going to wait him out, aren't you?
Yeah, well, I think what really needs to happen is the far left, to their credit, have spent a lot of time building a political apparatus to mobilize people and to win elections, and the business community has failed to do that completely. And when one side puts in all the work and the other doesn't, you see the disparity that we have today. I think for far too long, politically, the business community has said, well, we'll just write checks during campaigns and that's enough. And the answer is, it's not enough.
It's not. The political opposition to data centers really heating up strong.
It is, yeah.
Is it so strong that it will stop the adequate development of AI?
I mean, temporarily, yes, because we're seeing laws pass around the country that do have moratoriums and things like that. But big picture, the anxiety around data centers is not really about data centers. Data centers in and of itself, yes, they should pay for their own electricity needs, they should pay for their own water needs, but they're doing that, right? So that's not really the point. The point is, I think people are just anxious about, one, AI in general. They're worried it's going to take their job. They're worried it's going to hurt their kids in some ways. And I think even bigger picture, human beings can only evolve so quickly, right? It takes a while. Technology evolves really fast. And basically, in the last 400 years, the world has gone like this to tremendous benefit. But people, I think, have a hard time keeping up with the pace of change. That creates anxiety. The anxiety has to go somewhere. So whether that's electing someone at the political extremes or opposing data centers, they're all manifestations of a much broader anxiety that's not really about the issue itself.
Technology makes me anxious, that's a fact. Bradley Tusk, a pleasure. Thanks for joining us.